Hello, we are here in Scotland, Glasgow, on the occasion of the International Astronautical Congress 2008, and I am delighted to welcome here today Dr. Nield, who represents the Commercial Space Transportation Office within the FAA, which is the Federal Aviation Administration. So I would like to ask you a few questions, and I think it's good to start with the objectives of the Commercial Space Transportation Office. Can you tell us a few words about this, please?
Yes, we actually have a twofold mission in the Office of Commercial Space Transportation. First of all, we're responsible to ensure the safety of the public during commercial launch and re-entry activities. And secondly, to encourage, facilitate, and promote commercial space transportation.
Could you elaborate a little bit about the past and current activities of your Commercial Space Transportation Office?
Yes, in the United States, there are actually three different sectors in the overall space program. There is the civil sector, which is led by NASA, and that includes launches of the Space Shuttle, the operation of the International Space Station, and the efforts to go back to the Moon and onto Mars. The military sector is led by the Air Force, and that includes launches of defense communications satellites, the GPS navigation system, and various other sensors related to national security. And the commercial sector is just about everything else, and it includes launches of telecommunications satellites, direct broadcast television, Earth resources, and a recent interest in space tourism. If you go back to the beginning of the commercial sector, that happened about 1984. Our President Reagan issued an executive order at that time, and Congress passed the Commercial Space Launch Act. That established the Office of Commercial Space Transportation as sort of a one-stop shop to oversee and regulate the industry. And during the mid-1990s, we were moved over to the FAA, where we are today, one of 4 lines of business, along with aviation safety, airports, and the Air Traffic Organization.
You just mentioned the industry of space tourism burgeoning. Can you tell us a little bit more what your future projects are?
I think we're facing 2 major challenges in the next few years. First of all, NASA's in the process of retiring the Space Shuttle right now. And once that is complete, NASA will be relying on private industry to take cargo and then eventually crew members to and from the International Space Station. And the reason that's important to our office is those missions will be licensed by the FAA. So we'll have an important new responsibility in that program in our partnership with NASA. And the second major challenge has to do with the fact that we are now on the threshold of really a new era in the overall space transportation program, and that is commercial human spaceflight, and specifically the suborbital space tourism efforts. Our office right now is dealing with about a half a dozen different companies, each of which is involved in developing, designing, building, and starting to test vehicles that can take passengers up to the edge of space so that they can see the blackness of the sky, the curvature of the Earth, and experience the magic of weightlessness, and then return safely to the Earth. So that's really going to change how we think about space. I think when we see hundreds of launches every year with thousands of people being able to visit space, and so that will be an important new challenge for our office.
The FAA joined the IAF, the International Astronautical Federation, this year. So I would like to know how you think the IAF could help the FAA to achieving those goals, all those challenges that you just mentioned.
Well, we believe that the IAF is a perfect forum for us to interact with people from all over the world, and governments, and industry, and academia, to share ideas, progress, and future plans related to space transportation. I think there are going to be some very important changes in the next few years, especially once the space tourism industry gets off the ground. I think it will not be long after we see those up and down suborbital flights before people start working towards point-to-point transportation through space. And that will raise a whole new level of issues in terms of legal issues, liability issues, security issues, air traffic issues, and so forth. So the IAF will offer a great opportunity for people to come together and talk about some of those issues ahead of time so that we're ready to go when the technology is available. We We also hope that the IAF can help spread the word, really, that whereas human spaceflight to date has been pretty much the history of government space programs with government-developed vehicles and a cadre of specially selected and highly trained government astronauts flying occasionally into space. That is no longer necessarily going to be the case. We may well see private companies developing their own business models, selling tickets, and allowing a lot more people from the general public to participate. So that's an important change. Then we hope the IAF can help us explain that paradigm shift, and we can work together to help enable this exciting new part of the industry.
Dr. Nield, thank you very much.
Thank you.